we've talked about 3D printing a few times on the channel. Got some nice little additions for your At Games Legends, a gun holster, a joystick restrictor, a couple other little goodies that are out there. A little case for a Raspberry Pi that's kind of Star Wars crate themed. So there's a variety of things that we've talked about and that I've put out there for folks to grab. But it's been out in the news before a few times. It seems like it's kind of picking up a little bit. We thought we'd do, we're always big on issues based content. So this is back in the days when we were squat cobbler, we would squat on the issues. Now I guess we just talk about the issues, or get
I
bogged
think it's
down in
bogged down by the issues.
bogged down by the issues. There we go. I knew we had come up with a very pithy tagline for it. But in New York, they're looking to kind of ban the ability for 3D printers to print 3D guns, which I don't think is going to be a particularly easy thing to do. But that's one of the things that they're looking to do. You're a big First, Second, and 48th Amendment guy, Mike. So, um, what are your thoughts on 3D printed guns and whether it should be legal to do it?
So first and most importantly, I have to ask, are you a Walton Goggins fan?
Um, unless that was Stephen Hawkins' West Virginia cousin, no, I don't. I'm not familiar.
He's an actor. He's in the Fallout series, if you've
Oh,
watched
okay.
that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I know you're talking about now.
He was on Saturday Night Live recently, I believe. I don't watch the show, but I watch the clips that hit YouTube and things. And there's one of him with the founding fathers when they're writing out the Constitution. And they're like, all right, what's the Second Amendment going to be? And he goes, guns. And they're like, what do you mean? He's like, just guns. They're like, well, what about guns? What are we? He's like, we just passed an amendment that says you have freedom of speech. And he's like, yeah, this balances that out. So, so yeah, I'm a fan of the First and Second Amendment, definitely. Um, so 3D printed guns have been something I think shortly after I became interested in 3D printing is when the 3D printed gun thing kind of became a thing, if that makes sense. Like once I was kind of following the 3D printing thing, it was pretty quickly after that in the news. And I don't know if anybody knows this, but back in the day, Kelly and I were hosts on a radio show, and I spoke to somebody who is very prominent in the gun world about coming on the show. Then I had my passport seized and had to participate in a Homeland Security investigation in order to get that back. So, and we made fun of it a lot on the show because the government. So, so I know a couple things about 3D printed guns. Um, I this is interesting because it's not like, and I understand that this is different. Like, I don't want people to get upset and say that I'm, making a weird analogy here, but like, you can go into a store and buy a regular printer. There's no way that they can dictate to you what you're going to print out with that. It could be something completely illegal. They're just selling you a printer. And that's kind of the same thing with like I know you can't hurt somebody with a page that you print out, but you could print out illegal materials with that. And there's no way for them to dictate that to you. The idea here, I guess, is that the 3D printer will reject plans that it recognizes as a 3D printed gun. I don't know how they would do that, to be honest with you. And it seems like something you could easily override by making some sort of small change to it. So I, I feel like this is just a lot of talk.
Yeah, I'm with you. And actually, I think the regular printer analogy is not bad because you could use that to plagiarize something, do or make a legal copy of some literary work, bind it, and send it out. And one solution for that is, well, we'll just make sure printers can't print things that have already been published, and that's the way we're going to head this off. But the overhead to do that and the likelihood of being able to do that is incredibly remote. Versus make the if it's a big enough issue, make the thing illegal. It's illegal to copy somebody else's published work and sell it for your own benefit. And so if you're going to at some point say a 3D printed gun is illegal, that would be the way to go. And I'm sure that's really hit well for some of our viewers to kind of say ban a particular type of gun. But I understand the risks, particularly of it's potentially creates an avenue for the wrong kind of person to be able to convey a firearm through security measures that aren't going to catch it, and that's a fair concern from there. But yeah, more than anything else, it's just pragmatically or practically impossible to do it because I just that assumes. I mean, a lot of the higher end 3D printers are fully internet enabled and it's connected, and you're actually pulling your print files from there, you're storing them there, you're doing all those types of things. But my meat and potatoes 3D printer has on it the original operating system for it. There's an improved version that I could burn onto my printing device and use it. That's got a few more features and is better, but it's akin to I have it. There's a 5% chance, or with me maybe more like 10% chance that I would brick my 3D printer, which would make me sad. So I've just kind of gone with the vanilla operating system for printing. It's worked well for me. But even if I'm doing that, I'm downloading that, putting it on an SD card, plugging the SD card into my 3D printer, and to do that, and somehow to have the intelligence baked into a 3D printer to say, oh, wait a second, this is one of those models, or try and prevent people. I mean, I guess you could make it illegal for people to distribute models of the parts you need to do for making a 3D gun, but that just means they can't go through any of the traditional ways to distribute it because there's plenty of other ways if you've got the file that you can get it to the people you want to get it to. So I don't see any way it's possible. And I think if you feel it's a big enough issue, then I think you've got to go after the end product versus the thing that makes it because it's just impractical more than anything else. And if you were going to ban it, I would just at least kind of be something along the lines of, hey, you can't bring a 3D printed gun on an airplane. Not going to let you do that. I don't think that crushes anybody's rights too much, and or to a concert setting or any of those types of things. So, public gatherings and flight, sure, buses, all that good stuff. Yeah, you could say that's a no go. But I think it's just impossible to stop it from happening otherwise. I think it's a rule that's attempted to be made by people who don't understand how things work. And so they say, well, I said I want it to stop, so you should be able to make it stop. So,
Yeah, I think you articulated that perfectly. This feels like something's being pitched by people who don't understand the technology at all. Also, too, and I don't want to upset anybody. I'm not trying to sound flippant when I say this. Um, I'm sure that a lot of places already have laws in place that would cover 3D guns because you can't just make your own guns, like manufacture your own guns. There are laws about that. So I'm sure that would cover 3D printed guns to some degree in most states or most areas that you could live in. Here's the thing, though, about passing more laws and things about guns. I don't know if you guys know this. And again, I'm not trying to upset anybody. Criminals don't follow the law. It's their whole thing. So I think a murderer, for example, doesn't really care if you pass another law related to weapons they could use for murder. because they're just going to murder people anyway. And again, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying, you know what I mean? It's like actual criminals don't care about the law. So I, even if this is well intentioned, I just don't see how this is practically put into actual everyday action.
Well, I know a lot of people subscribe to the Bog Panda YouTube channel because of the deep, thoughtful insights we have on matters of the day. Our Greenland show's coming up in a little bit. Mike and I'll share some thoughts on that.
We
Uh,
figured it out. Don't worry.
yeah, we got it all, and we know the difference between Iceland and Greenland. So we'll in Denmark too. They're all different. But we'll maybe save that for another day. But would be interested in hearing from you where you're at on some of these things, and and it's to me this conversation is a lot less about. I mean, I think you make a good point to kind of say, is there any energy here even worth it anyway? Because of what's going on. My biggest thing is don't go trying to make laws when you don't know how things work.
Yeah.
And this is, this would be putting all kinds of energy into stuff. If I understand what they're looking to do to have actually the printer reject the ability to print a 3D gun, um, good luck on figuring out the intelligence to do that and to how you distribute it. And the crazy criminal might not do the software update to his 3D printer that
And
introduces
also,
it.
again, and I can't stress this enough, I don't think they care if you pass the law.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's almost like the word crime should be part of the name criminal.
Yeah.
It's something like that. Cool. But we were just in hearing your thoughts, one way or another, on this. And appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. Check it out. Check out the software we have on Bog Panda Vision. Some ROMs out there for the Game Boy. Some Doom levels. More stuff coming out on that. More platforms down the road. Hard No, the world's shortest podcast. Less than a minute a day. Uh, a little light on issues of the day, although on occasion we will have a few hard no's on hard hitting issues, but not too many. And check that out as well. It's all available for one small subscription price, and it always helps us if you like the video, share it with your friends. That helps us out a little bit. We'd appreciate that. So, thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Kelly's got to get back to 3D printing guns now.
Bogged Panda.